For this recipe, you will need 4 to 5 russet potatoes, 1 onion, 3 celery stalks, 1 tablespoon minced garlic, 3 cups of broth, 1½ teaspoons of rosemary, 1 to 1½ cups of half and half shredded cheese, green onions, and bacon bits. So to start out, you'll just want to peel your potatoes. You can also not peel your potatoes if you don't want to, but I just like it to be a lot more smooth and creamy, so that's why I always choose to peel my potatoes for this recipe. And then once they're all peeled, you'll just go ahead and chop them up. And you'll just want to chop them up into about bite-sized pieces. And then you can just set those aside and start chopping up your celery into small pieces as well. And then do the same to your onion. And I just like to chop my onion into smaller pieces because although this will be smashed up at the end, my kids aren't going to like biting into big pieces of onion, so I just like to get those as small as I can. And then because this is a crock pot recipe, you are just going to add in your potatoes, your celery, and your onions into your crock pot. Followed by your minced garlic, and then add in your rosemary, and the rosemary will give it such a great flavor. But what I really like to do is actually crush up the rosemary in my hand, and that way you don't get really big chunks of rosemary, but you get the taste of it throughout the soup, and it is so good. And last, you're just going to add in your stock. You can use chicken stock, veggie stock, whatever kind you want, and I love using this better than bouillon. It is just so convenient and so inexpensive, so that's definitely my favorite. And then just put the lid on and cook this on low for 6 hours or on high for 3 hours. And once everything is cooked and your potatoes and veggies are completely blended up, you will just mash that up until you reach your desired consistency using a potato masher. And once your soup is all mashed up, you're going to add in your half and half. And I like to slowly add mine in because sometimes I feel like I need only 1 cup and sometimes I'll need 1½ cups depending on how big my potatoes were and just how thin I want the soup to be or how thick I want it to be. So definitely just do that to your desired consistency as well, because this is your soup. You can totally make this however you want. And then just give everything a really good stir to make sure the half and half is completely mixed up in it. And then I like to add my salt and pepper at the end, and that way you can just add it to taste depending on how much you want. And the very last thing you need to do is add any toppings. Now you don't have to have any toppings at all, but for this to be a truly loaded potato soup, I would suggest adding some toppings. So we like to add a little bit of shredded cheese along with some green onions and bacon bits. And that is it. That's all there is to this delicious crock pot soup. It is so good. I highly recommend trying it out. If you do end up trying it, definitely let me know how you like it. This has become one of our family's favorites. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Don't forget to subscribe down below if you are not already, and also follow me over on Instagram, and I will see you in my next one.